And what you had is replacing the physical that man would do in factories then and so on. And so the way I look at it is I look at the human body and I see like it's replacing the body and so on. And it's coming up higher and higher. And then it replaces some aspects of the mind that you can computerize. And it's coming up and it's replacing higher and higher levels of thinking and reasoning. Okay. So that path is part of the evolutionary path that is happening. Okay. So then you start to say, what do I have to offer? And so, in answer to who benefits from it, those who benefit from it are those who are the capitalists with the ideas that replace the workers. And so if you look at, there's revenue for businesses. When you buy something in a store, there's revenue. Okay. And if you look at the share that is going to workers, you see that share going down. And if you look at the share that's going to those who own that business, that share is going up. That's, how do they share that revenue in terms of the cost? And you see that that's rising. And so this is an evolutionary process. And it's true that what happens is you get more free time. Okay. So now the society has to think, how do I deal with this? So, for example, the work week, which used to be, a 60 or 70-hour work week, goes down to less than a 40-hour work week, and there's more time. But there needs to be, how do you create a bottom? And so we're going through this phase in which there is this upper end that is making incredible amounts of wealth, as we described, and then this lower end that is then having these challenges. We have a relatively good economy, and the difficulty of college graduates to get employment has increased significantly. And I can tell you that in many businesses, it becomes more of a pain in the neck to have a college graduate, let's say, do it. You have to train them, you have to, and many of those tasks, many of that thing can be done very quickly with the AI and with computerization. And as you get into robotics, you're going to have that happen, right?
The speed of the disruption that we're seeing because of the amount of capital that's flowing into these AI frontier models like the Anthropics and OpenAI, et cetera, is quite different from anything else, sort of the historical precedences we've seen through the Industrial Revolution, where it took time to build the tractors.
There's an element of speed. What happens usually is the bubble bursts.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have the cyclical dynamic of that while the technology, evolves. But the supply, demand, and the debt problem that we just talked about then come in. And so unemployment is due to typically some sort of a combination of a financial crisis that, like we talked about, the debt and stocks going down and people not having collateral and then therefore not buying assets, and that dynamic, that causes the unemployment rate, that factor.
That's the sort of economic reasons. But in terms of the AI agents, robotics being able to replace you, I've sat with Dara from Uber, and Dara said that he imagines in the future, the 9 million riders that they have around the world doing deliveries will be replaced by autonomous vehicles, autonomous robots.